the actualist reaction to Lewis's theories happened in two different ways. Distinct means being different so that you can recognize something. Some people try to support parts of the idea of the possible worlds by thinking that possible world thinking by thinking of possible worlds as theoretical objects that actually existed but in abstract way. Embrace means to put your arms around someone and hold them tight, or you accept and support a certain idea. Conceive means to think about or imagine. Abstract means relating to general ideas, okay, and not to real things and events. Other people, other actualists, attack the theory of possible worlds by thinking that the theory goes against common sense. Common sense is your natural ability to make good decisions and behave in a practical or reasonable way. Lewis disagreed to this by saying that common sense does not include all possibilities. Counter means to show that you disagree with something, or you say that something is wrong. Encompass means to include, all right? The other arguments against him was that having limitless number of possible worlds breaks the law, the assumption of Occam's razor, okay, which says that explaining a theory is best done by having the only elements that are needed, okay. Violate means to break a law or agreement or a promise. Premise is something that you suppose is true and something that is the basis of developing an idea. Premise, pre means before. Miss means put in French. So you put before, you assume, you understand? Occam's razor is a maxim of William of Ockham. He's a British scholar, right? And this means if you want to explain something, you shouldn't have a lot of assumptions. You should have only the needed assumptions. The less assumption, having the less assumptions is best, okay? So if you have a whole lot of assumptions to explain something, that explaining is not good, all right? Not effective. So it's called the principle of economy, all right? In other words, arguments should be simple as possible. Although he had criticism, Lewis never changed his opinion about his belief in possible worlds, saying that it's true up to his death in 2001. Waver means to not being able to decide about something, or considering changing your opinion about something. And waver means shaking in small movement is wavering. Okay. So what is this part about? The actualist reaction and how Lewis countered them. Do you understand? So the actualist reaction happened in two ways. Some tried to support his idea by thinking of possible worlds as theoretical objects that actually existed, but in an abstract form. So they're actualists. So they have to think that something actually exists or it doesn't exist. So this is how they accept it in their way, all right? And other actualists attack the theory, saying that the theory is against common sense. And Lewis reacted by saying that common sense does not include all possibilities. And the other actualists said that having a limitless number of possible worlds breaks the law of Occam's razor, which says that explaining something is best done by reducing the elements to only what is needed. And that means arguments should be simple as possible. Although he had criticism, he never changed his belief in possible worlds, and he said it was true up till his death in 2001. Do you get that? The word conundrum in the passage is closest in meaning to... So even if you don't know the meaning, right? The two positions stand in contrast. That means what? Very different. And so it created a philosophical what? The two positions were very different. So it's the situation is having two different things in one condition, situation. So what would the meaning be? Being complicated, right? So what has the meaning of being complicated? Puzzle. Query is a question that you ask especially the questions that you ask an organization or publication, all right? Or an expert. Hypothesis is something that is an idea. Hypothesis is an idea to explain something, but something that is not proven to be true yet. You understand? That's hypothesis. The idea to explain something, but which is not proved to be true yet, is hypothesis. Contradiction is saying that something is wrong. Do you understand? Contra has the meaning of against. Dict means say. So the answer is B. Paragraph 2. The possibilists disagree with the actualists because what? They subscribe to the theory of modal realism. Subscribe means what? If you subscribe to an opinion, you have that opinion. You understand? So who's they? You're not sure, right? So you have to read all the options. They refuse to acknowledge their past experiences. So they is who? They are who? Possibilists, right? Did they refuse to acknowledge their past experiences? No, right? Acknowledge means what? It means to admit or accept, okay? What is the idea of possibilists? Um, the thought of possible worlds and modal realism, right? So, in explaining the modal realism, um, the passage mentioned that it's based on the experience of someone. Something could be true based on one's previous experiences. So, um, the possibilists take experiences into consideration. So, B is not true. So, they subscribe to the theory of modal realism. So, A would be the answer, right? Let's read the other options. They believe that there is no such thing as actual worlds. Is this right? No, right? If you have to, if you want to judge this option, you have to look at a different paragraph. Their thought is that there are. Okay, let's look at the next paragraph. The word actual is indexical. It's different by context. That means there can be different actual worlds. So it's not saying that there is no such thing as actual world. So C is wrong. They use logic to deny what actually exists. They didn't deny what actually exists, so this is wrong. So the answer is A.